Today, I want to talk about something deeply personal yet universally relatable, a feeling that many of us experience but rarely express aloud. It's the thought of someone who stays on your mind, even in the absence of any communication. What does it mean when someone lingers in your thoughts, silently occupying your mental and emotional space? When someone is always on your mind, even in the absence of communication, it often points to a profound emotional connection. This connection transcends the boundaries of physical interaction and exists in the realm of thoughts, memories, and feelings. Such a connection doesn't happen by chance. It's often rooted in shared experiences, mutual understanding, or a deep-seated impact that person has had on your life. It's as though their presence has imprinted itself on your consciousness, and no matter how much time passes, their influence continues to echo within you. At its core, a strong emotional connection is a reflection of how deeply someone has touched your soul. It's not just about their physical presence or the moments you've shared, but about the way they've made you feel. Perhaps they were there during a pivotal moment in your life, offering support, kindness, or love that left a lasting impression. Maybe they helped you see yourself in a new light, encouraging you to embrace parts of yourself you hadn't acknowledged before. These kinds of interactions create bonds that are not easily forgotten. They form the foundation of why someone might occupy your thoughts so persistently. This connection can also be a result of the emotional vulnerability you experienced with them. When we let someone into our most private thoughts and feelings, we form a bond that can withstand the test of time and distance. Vulnerability breeds intimacy, and intimacy creates a sense of attachment that goes beyond mere companionship. Even if communication has ceased, the emotional imprint they've left lingers, replaying moments of closeness that once felt so significant. This can create a sense of longing or nostalgia as your mind naturally gravitates toward those moments that brought you joy, comfort, or a sense of belonging. The strength of this connection can also be linked to the way they've shaped your identity. Some people come into our lives as catalysts for growth or change. Their words, actions, or even their mere presence can challenge our perceptions, push us out of our comfort zones, or inspire us to be better versions of ourselves. When someone has had such an impact, it's natural for your mind to revisit them, almost as if it's trying to hold on to the lessons or inspiration they provided. They become a mental anchor, a reminder of who you are and who you're striving to become. This connection isn't always purely positive, though. Sometimes the person occupying your mind has left a complicated legacy, perhaps a mix of joy and pain, love and regret. The emotional pull you feel toward them might be your subconscious trying to reconcile those mixed feelings. Your mind might be seeking understanding, closure, or even a resolution to the questions that remain unanswered. This doesn't diminish the strength of the connection, but rather highlights its complexity. Strong emotional bonds are rarely black and white. They're a spectrum of emotions and experiences that shape how we perceive both ourselves and others. It's also worth noting that when someone is constantly on your mind, it could be a sign of the depth of your own capacity to feel and care. It speaks to your ability to form meaningful relationships and to invest emotionally in others. While this can be a beautiful aspect of human nature, it can also be challenging when the connection isn't reciprocated or when circumstances prevent further communication. In such cases, it's essential to honor your feelings without letting them consume you. Recognize the significance of the connection, but also allow yourself the freedom to focus on your own well-being and growth. This constant presence in your thoughts can feel almost spiritual. It's as though there's an invisible thread tying you to this person, one that transcends logic and reason. Some might interpret this as a soul-level connection where the bond goes beyond physical existence and exists in the realm of energy or shared destiny. Whether or not you believe in such concepts, the intensity of these thoughts can feel like a powerful force, one that's difficult to ignore or fully understand. Ultimately, when someone is always on your mind without any communication, it speaks volumes about the emotional significance they hold in your life. It's a testament to the depth of your connection, the impact they've had on you, and the ways in which they've shaped your thoughts, emotions, and even your identity. While it's important to cherish and honor these connections, it's equally crucial to reflect on what they mean for you in the present. Are these thoughts bringing you peace and joy, or are they preventing you from fully embracing the present moment? Understanding the root of this connection can provide clarity and help you navigate your emotions with grace and self-awareness. Having someone on your mind so persistently is a reminder of the richness of human relationships and the enduring power of emotional bonds. Whether they remain a part of your life or simply a cherished memory, their presence in your thoughts reflects the profound impact they've had on your journey. Embrace these feelings, but remember to prioritize your own emotional health and growth as you continue to navigate the complexities of connection and love. When someone is always on your mind without any communication, it could point to unresolved matters or unspoken words that keep replaying in your subconscious. The human mind has a remarkable way of holding on to things that feel unfinished, whether they're conversations, emotions, or situations. This sense of incompleteness often becomes a mental loop, drawing your attention back to that person time and again. It's as if your thoughts are searching for closure, trying to piece together what's missing, or attempting to make sense of what went unsaid or undone. Unfinished business with someone often stems from the weight of emotions that were never fully expressed. Perhaps there were feelings of love, gratitude, or even regret that you never had the chance or courage to articulate. These unspoken words linger in your mind, creating a sense of emotional limbo. You replay scenarios, imagining what could have been said or done differently. In doing so, your mind is trying to bridge the gap between what happened and what you wish had happened, keeping that person firmly in your thoughts. Unresolved situations have a way of anchoring someone in your mind. Maybe the relationship ended abruptly, or perhaps there was a conflict that was never truly addressed. When situations are left open-ended, they create a psychological itch that your brain feels compelled to scratch. You find yourself revisiting past moments, analyzing their meaning, and wondering how things could have unfolded differently. This process, while natural, often deepens the emotional connection to the person as your mind seeks answers that may never fully come. Sometimes the lack of communication itself becomes the source of your mental focus. Silence can be deafening, and in its absence, your thoughts fill the void. You might wonder what they're thinking, whether they miss you or if they're grappling with the same emotions. This uncertainty fuels your mental preoccupation as your mind attempts to fill in the blanks. In this way, the lack of closure or resolution becomes a kind of unresolved puzzle that your thoughts are trying to solve. The sense of unfinished business can also stem from the human tendency to seek validation or understanding. If the relationship or connection ended in a way that felt unfair, confusing, or unresolved, you may find yourself yearning for clarity. Why did things end the way they did? Were your feelings reciprocated? Did they understand how much they meant to you? These unanswered questions can tether your thoughts to that person as your mind seeks the validation or closure it never received. This process isn't always conscious. Often the thoughts arise unbidden, catching you off guard. You might hear a song, see something that reminds you of them, or simply find your mind drifting back to a memory. These triggers bring the unresolved feelings to the surface, even if you've tried to push them aside. The more significant the connection, the harder it is for your mind to let go, as it clings to the moments and emotions that feel incomplete. In some cases, unspoken words and unfinished business can create a sense of longing. This longing isn't necessarily about wanting to rekindle the relationship or connection, but about wanting to tie up loose ends. It's the desire to say the things you never said, to hear the things you wish they'd said, or to experience a sense of finality that allows you to move forward. This longing can be bittersweet, as it highlights both the depth of the connection and the reality of its incompleteness. It's important to recognize that not all unfinished business can or should be resolved. Sometimes the closure we seek must come from within. While it might feel tempting to reach out and say the words you've been holding on to, it's not always possible or appropriate. In such cases, the work lies in finding peace within yourself, accepting that some things will remain unfinished, and that this doesn't diminish the significance of the connection. The key to navigating these thoughts is self-awareness. When someone is always on your mind due to unfinished business, it's an opportunity to reflect on what that connection meant to you and what you can learn from it. What are the emotions or situations that feel unresolved? How can you address those feelings in a way that honors your own growth and healing? By exploring these questions, you can begin to understand the deeper layers of your emotions and take steps toward finding inner peace. The presence of someone in your thoughts due to unspoken words or unresolved situations is a testament to the complexity of human relationships. It reflects the impact they've had on your life and the significance of the moments you shared. While the lack of closure can feel challenging, it's also a reminder of the depth of your capacity to connect, feel, and care. By acknowledging these feelings and seeking understanding either through communication or self-reflection, you can find a sense of resolution, even in the midst of unfinished business. When someone is always on your mind without any form of communication, it often reflects a projection of your own inner needs or desires. People who occupy such a space in your thoughts may symbolize something greater than themselves, perhaps qualities you admire, emotional security you seek, or even unresolved aspects of your own identity. This isn't just about the person as an individual, it's about what they represent to you on a deeper level. Your mind may repeatedly return to them because they resonate with a part of you that is yearning for attention or fulfillment. This phenomenon is tied to the way our minds process emotions and relationships. Human beings are inherently reflective creatures, and we often project our hopes, fears, and unmet needs onto others. When someone becomes a central figure in your thoughts, they might embody traits or experiences that align with your personal desires. For instance, if you're longing for love, understanding, or a sense of connection, that person may serve as a mental placeholder for those needs. They become a symbol of the things you wish to have in your life, and your thoughts gravitate toward them because they represent something meaningful to you. These thoughts stem from admiration or inspiration. Perhaps the person has qualities you deeply respect: kindness, strength, ambition, or a certain charisma. Your constant focus on them might indicate a desire to cultivate similar traits within yourself. So it's not just about who they are, it's about who you want to become. Their presence in your mind serves as a reminder of the standards you aspire to or the values you hold dear. By fixating on them, You're indirectly reflecting on your own growth and the person you're striving to be. At the same time, these thoughts can also reveal areas of your life where you feel unfulfilled. If the person represents a sense of stability, passion, or adventure that you feel is missing in your own life, your mind might latch onto them as a way of processing those emotions. For example, if they exude confidence and you're struggling with self-doubt, your thoughts may keep returning to them as a way of exploring what confidence looks like or feels like. It's as though your subconscious is using their image as a tool to understand and address your own internal struggles. This reflective process isn't limited to positive traits or feelings. Sometimes the person on your mind represents challenges or unresolved aspects of yourself. If they remind you of a difficult situation, a past failure, or an unresolved conflict, your thoughts might dwell on them as a way of confronting those emotions. They act as a mirror, reflecting parts of yourself that you may not have fully acknowledged or addressed. This can be uncomfortable, but it's also an opportunity for growth. By examining why they occupy your thoughts, you can gain insights into your own emotional landscape and begin to heal or evolve. It's also worth noting that the intensity of these thoughts can amplify when there's a sense of longing or absence in your life. If you're in a period of transition, uncertainty, or emotional vulnerability, your mind might gravitate towards someone who represents comfort or stability. This doesn't necessarily mean you want to be with them. It means they symbolize something you're currently seeking. Your thoughts act as a way of exploring those desires, even if the person themselves isn't directly involved in fulfilling them. In some cases, the person might represent a version of yourself that you've left behind or wish to reconnect with. If they were part of a time in your life when you felt happier, more confident, or more at peace, your mind might associate them with those feelings. Thinking about them becomes a way of reminiscing about who you were during that period and perhaps a desire to reclaim that sense of self. It's not just about them, it's about the emotions and memories tied to their presence. Recognizing this dynamic can be empowering. When you understand that your thoughts about someone are often rooted in your own inner needs or aspirations, you can begin to shift the focus inward. Instead of seeing them as the solution or the source of your feelings, you can explore what they represent and how you can fulfill those needs within yourself. This self-awareness allows you to reclaim your emotional energy and channel it into personal growth rather than being caught in a cycle of longing or preoccupation. When someone is always on your mind, it's a reflection of the complexity of human connection and the depth of your own emotional world. They may symbolize qualities, experiences, or aspirations that hold significant meaning for you. By examining these thoughts with curiosity and compassion, you can uncover valuable insights about yourself and your journey. It's not just about them, it's about what they reveal about you, your desires, and your path toward fulfillment. In this way, their presence in your thoughts becomes a tool for self-discovery, helping you align with your true self and your deepest values. When someone is always on your mind without any communication, it often indicates that the emotional bond or connection you share with them is deeply rooted. This connection may not always be overt or acknowledged, but its strength lies in its ability to transcend physical presence and communication. The mind holds on to meaningful bonds, replaying shared moments, emotions, and experiences that have left an indelible mark on your heart and psyche. Such a connection is often built on authenticity, shared experiences, or an unspoken understanding, making it a lasting part of your mental and emotional landscape. The human brain is wired to focus on relationships that matter, whether they bring joy, comfort, or even challenges. When someone becomes a significant part of your life, your mind naturally weaves them into its narrative, associating them with emotions, memories, and aspirations. This emotional bond operates on a level beyond words, rooted in the way their presence made you feel. It could be the warmth of their smile, the depth of your conversations, or the way they understood you in ways others didn't. These feelings linger, creating a mental loop that keeps drawing your attention back to them. Strong emotional bonds are often tied to moments of vulnerability or deep connection. When someone is there for you during a pivotal moment in your life, whether it's a time of triumph, loss, or change, they become intertwined with your personal growth and emotional history. Their presence in your mind reflects the role they played in shaping your journey. Even if time or circumstances have created distance, the impact of those moments remains a testament to the depth of the connection you shared. Another layer of this bond lies in the comfort and security the person might have provided. People who make us feel seen, valued, and understood leave a lasting imprint. Your mind holds on to them as a source of emotional grounding, a reminder of the safety and acceptance you experienced in their presence. This isn't necessarily about longing for their physical presence, but about cherishing the emotional space they created for you. The bond becomes a sanctuary in your thoughts, a place you revisit when you need reassurance or strength. These connections are marked by a sense of unfinished growth. The person might represent not only who they are, but also who you became through your interactions with them. Perhaps they challenged you, inspired you, or encouraged you to see the world in new ways. Their influence shaped your perspective, leaving a ripple effect that continues even in their absence. This ongoing influence keeps them present in your mind as a reminder of your evolution and the journey you're still on. In some cases, the bond is so profound that it feels almost spiritual, as though it transcends the boundaries of time and space. You might feel an inexplicable pull toward them, sensing their presence even when they're not physically there. This can manifest as dreams, intuitive feelings, or moments of synchronicity that reinforce the connection. Such bonds often defy logical explanation, rooted instead in the intangible threads of shared energy and understanding. The emotional bond might also reflect a shared history or common values that bind you together. Perhaps you've walked similar paths, faced similar challenges, or shared a vision for the future. These shared experiences create a sense of alignment that keeps the connection alive in your thoughts. Even without communication, the resonance of those shared moments remains a quiet reminder of the ways your lives have intersected. It's important to recognize that these emotional bonds don't always require constant communication to remain significant. True connection transcends the need for regular interaction, rooted instead in mutual respect, care, and understanding. The strength of the bond lies in its ability to endure even in silence. When someone is always on your mind, it's a reflection of the enduring impact they've had on your heart, rather than a sign of weakness or dependency. It's also worth exploring the nature of the bond and its impact on your well-being. Is it bringing you comfort and inspiration, or does it feel like a weight you can't shake? Understanding the dynamics of the connection can help you navigate your emotions and decide how to honor the bond in a way that supports your growth. Sometimes it's enough to acknowledge the connection and let it be, appreciating the role it's played in your life without trying to rekindle or resolve it. When someone is constantly on your mind due to a deep emotional bond, it's a testament to the power of human connection. It reflects the ways we leave imprints on each other's lives, shaping not just our memories, but also our inner worlds. These bonds remind us of our capacity to love, grow, and be profoundly impacted by the presence of another. They become a part of our story, woven into the fabric of who we are, reminding us of the beauty and complexity of meaningful relationships. When someone is always on your mind without any communication, it can be a powerful indicator of the mind's tendency to create imaginary scenarios or projections. This phenomenon occurs because the human brain is inherently narrative-driven, constantly weaving stories and possibilities around people and situations that hold emotional significance. These mental scenarios are not just random thoughts, they are often a reflection of your inner desires, unresolved emotions, or subconscious processing. The person becomes a focal point for these projections, a canvas on which your mind paints what could have been, what might be, or what you wish to understand. These imagined scenarios often arise when there's ambiguity or lack of closure. In the absence of clear communication, the mind fills the void with its own interpretations. It replays past interactions, magnifying certain moments or details and assigning them new meanings. For instance, you might dwell on a particular smile, word, or action, crafting an entire narrative around its significance. This process is driven by the brain's natural inclination to seek patterns and meanings, even in situations that are inherently uncertain or incomplete. In many cases, these projections reflect a yearning for connection or resolution. The mind gravitates toward this person as a way of exploring unfulfilled emotions or unanswered questions. If there were unresolved feelings or situations between you, your thoughts might focus on imagining how things could have unfolded differently. You might replay conversations with alternate outcomes, envision reconciliations, or picture a future that aligns with your desires. This mental exercise isn't about reality, but about processing the emotions tied to the person in the relationship. These scenarios also often stem from idealization. When someone is constantly on your mind, it's common to focus on their positive traits, amplifying them in ways that may not entirely align with reality. Your thoughts might elevate them to a pedestal, emphasizing their strengths or the qualities you admire. In doing so, the person becomes a symbol of perfection or an ideal partner, even if your actual experiences with them were more nuanced. This idealization can be comforting, but it also reflects your own aspirations and the qualities you wish to see in your life. Another factor at play is the role of hope and longing. Imaginary scenarios allow you to explore possibilities that may feel out of reach in reality. Perhaps you imagine reconnecting with the person, building a future together, or achieving a deeper understanding of each other. These thoughts are not just idle daydreams, they serve a purpose. They provide emotional solace, a way to keep the connection alive in your mind, and a sense of possibility that can be both comforting and motivating. They help you navigate the space between what is and what could be. It's also important to note that these scenarios are not limited to positive fantasies. Sometimes the mind fixates on fears, doubts, or conflicts tied to the person. You might imagine arguments, misunderstandings, or negative outcomes reflecting anxieties or insecurities that the relationship triggered. These thoughts are equally significant as they offer insights into areas where you may feel vulnerable or unresolved. By paying attention to these scenarios, you can better understand the emotional undercurrents driving your thoughts. The intensity of these imaginary scenarios can be heightened by the absence of communication. When you don't have real-time updates or interactions with the person, your mind fills the gap with its own creations. This can make the connection feel more vivid and emotionally charged, even if it's largely based on your own interpretations. The lack of external input allows your inner narrative to take center stage, shaping how you perceive the person and the relationship. Understanding this dynamic can be both enlightening and liberating. Recognizing that these scenarios are your mind's way of processing emotions allows you to approach them with curiosity rather than judgment. Instead of feeling trapped by your thoughts, you can explore what they reveal about your desires, fears, and aspirations. Are you longing for a sense of closure? Are you seeking qualities that this person represents? By reflecting on these questions, you can gain clarity about yourself and your emotional needs. Imaginary scenarios also offer an opportunity for self-discovery and growth. They reflect not just your feelings about the person, but also your values, priorities, and areas of inner conflict. By examining these scenarios, you can identify patterns in your thoughts and emotions, uncovering deeper truths about what matters to you. This self-awareness can guide you in making decisions that align with your goals and well-being. While it's natural to create mental narratives about someone who occupies a significant place in your thoughts, it's also important to balance these scenarios with reality. Acknowledge the role of your own projections and interpretations and consider how they align with the actual dynamics of the relationship. This balanced perspective can help you honor your emotions while staying grounded in the present. When someone is always on your mind and your thoughts are filled with imaginary scenarios, it speaks to the depth of your emotional connection and the power of your inner world. These scenarios are not merely distractions, they are a reflection of your heart and mind working together to make sense of the relationship and its significance in your life. By embracing this process with openness and self-compassion, you can navigate these thoughts in a way that fosters healing, growth, and understanding.